Very well, I'll stay out of it. Surprise me.
And if I do?
A wager. If you can solve this entanglement, this knot, to the satisfaction of the mother, the father, and the child, I'll stay out of your way for the rest of your journey home.
Well, Grandma, what did you think of Last Days in the Desert? Which is all about the last few days of Jesus's 40 days out in the wilderness, out in the desert. And Jesus is played by Ewan McGregor, and who also plays the devil, Satan, who is constantly sort of around, tempting him, taunting him, teasing him, basically making him sort of miserable.
Making him think.
Well, sort of, kind of.
That may not be what he intended, but it makes him think.
So what did you think about it?
Honestly, I don't know what to think about it. My daddy was a preacher. I learned a lot of Christian theology when I was growing up. And I knew about the praying and the fasting in the wilderness, which is not an uncommon thing for folks to do, or in Jesus' time. When the point, I guess, what I'm hung up about is the point that the filmmakers were trying to make. I'm not sure. Maybe you could shed some light on that. What the point?
Well, I think
was.
Again, one of the things that the filmmakers have at their disposal in this particular case is that, again, it's a part of the Bible everybody knows about, but it's a part of the Bible where there is not a lot of detail about what happened during those 40 days. So again, the director and the writer were able to fill in those 40 days, or well, at least the days that they show here, with whatever they want. Now, the story that takes up the majority of these days is where, again, Jesus comes across this man and his wife and his son, teenage son, who are, they're living out in the desert all by themselves, and they're sort of trying to build a home and that sort of thing.
Here's a human family: father, mother, son, and he puts himself into their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So let your imagination go. He's learning. What does it mean to be human? Father, mother, son. And he learns a lot from his, I think, is part of the point. He learns a lot from his association with this family. As far as the filming goes and the acting, I have no complaints about that. They were very. The young man who plays the son does an excellent job. He has all kinds of conflicting emotions to express, and he does a good job with that. It was very interesting. It held my interest the whole way. It was very different, very, very different from the usual film that we see.
Well, that's the thing that I would say most about it, is that it is, again, it's different than what the films most people will see. I thought it was good. However, much like walking across the desert, I don't know that I would want to do it again.
You mean
I'm
see the film?
yeah. I
again?
mean, I'm glad I saw. I'm glad we went to the movie. I'm glad I saw it. But yeah, its pace is very slow, very deliberate.
On purpose,
It's
I think.
well, yes.
They
Again,
had us slogging through the desert.
That's exactly it. Again, the style and the pace of the film was almost like walking. Although it was very interesting, and I'm glad that we went to it, it was not something that you necessarily would want to see more than once. Again, because there's not really a lot to it. As you say, there's a lot of him sort of meditating on his situation and looking out at the scenery and things like that. The actual story itself of his interaction with his family is also, again, very slight. There's very little that's going on. They do a little, work on the house. They eat. They sit and they talk. They do things like that. And so again, it's very slow, and there's really not much to it. It's interesting. It's very well done, as you said.
This period before he began his ministry would be very important for a holy man or any man.
But again, by its very nature, a lot of that is going on in his head.
Absolutely. And
I mean, a lot of that you're not really going to see. I mean, by the end of
it was going on in his head, I think.
But yeah, I mean, but by the end of the movie, you can sort of see that and this isn't really spoiling anything, I don't think, for anybody, but you can see that Jesus is sort of reached the point where he's more determined and focused, and he knows what he wants to do. And he's moving on to.
Going to happen.
He's moving on to Jerusalem. He again has reached the point where he's sure of himself. Again, part of what he was trying to figure out in the desert was, is this really what I'm supposed to do? Again, he needs to, and again, I think that he's figured that out by the end. Again,
I think
how that all relates to the family and everything, I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting situation. How he relates to the family and works through their situation and all that. It's all very interesting. We really had to sit and think about it a lot, and even after that.
That may be the intent of the movie.
Yeah, but even after that, again, different people will have different opinions, I think, about the meaning of this situation.
I thought it was quite interesting that the filmmakers chose to have the devil look exactly like him.
Well, it was him.
Here's the good guy, the holy man, and here is the tempter, and it's the same person.
Yeah.
Same actor.
And again, he did a good job playing both of them.
Yes. Yes, he did.
So again, I would recommend it, but again, I think anybody who sees it will find it very interesting. But again, I think it's not the sort of thing that you want to see over and over again. Probably.
Well, and it's not what most folks would think of as entertainment. It's not the kind of film that you.
Well, a lot of films are that way, though. I mean, it's something that's serious and important, maybe.
That is true.
But it's not something that you want to see over and over again. It's not a.
That is true. Yes, I would think it would be very interesting for most people, whether you're follow the Christian faith or knowing much about it. It's an interesting idea that